Susan, don't touch a thing.
We just got everything the way we wanted it.
Well, hello everyone. Stop it. Junebug.
I'm Genesis.
And this is...
Let's see how this goes.
Woohoo! I guess that's our new thing. Just happy little claps.
Pump it up.
So, do you know what today's video is about?
Ship cats.
Yeah, you remember. So if you watch my True Crime Times and my little spin-off called Badass Ladies, or Badass Lady Alerts, the last lady I covered, Ada Blackjack, she was the only survivor on this voyage. Well, her and the ship's cat, Victoria. And I'm like, was that standard? And yes, it was.
To have a cat on a ship.
If people still do it nowadays, it's been recorded since forever, almost. Mm-hmm. There's always generally a form of cat. Sometimes different animals, but mainly it was always cats on ships. I think it was our Navy in the U.S. or the British Navy that first said, okay, stop bringing cats on the ship in the 70s. But a lot of people do it still for other purposes. So if you were in the Navy, let us know if you had a cat. Oh. And I asked people, I'm like, do you want me to do a ship cat video? Because apparently there's a crap ton of famous ship cats. I'm like, well, I want to learn more about these cats.
Yeah, who doesn't like cats?
Because I have a cat. She's not going to be useful on a ship, but we don't have one, so it works out. So I did research about 5 famous ship cats, and I might want to do a part 2 because I could not, there's so many cats. How could I choose just 5?
I mean, that's true.
And it's kind of fun. So I'm going to be forcing my husband to learn about ship cats, because no one said they wanted a video in the comments, but I'm going to make one anyway. So I guess I should say, like, why cats? It might be explanatory, but, like, they catch rats and rodents, which, especially back in the Middle Ages, those were, you know, the Black Death, the plague.
Yeah, rats carried disease all over the place.
Well, they carried the fleas, which had the disease. Yeah. So, yeah, they caught the rodents.
Yep.
Apparently, they can easily adapt to new surroundings, it said. But I think that depends on the cat, personally.
Yeah, I'm looking at a very lazy cat. I don't think could adapt to anything.
We moved the couch to vacuum, and she was very upset.
Oh, yeah.
They also offered a lot of companionship, especially people who were away from their homes, and it gave a sense of home. But also, they just like that they're smaller compared to, like, a dog. So these were easier to take on board.
Yeah, a lot less food to feed them.
And apparently, cats can react to barometric pressure changes, so they can predict storms for the sailors.
Oh.
They would act slightly different.
Yeah, I wonder how they would act different.
I didn't read that much into it. So the first cat's name we're talking about, famous ship cats, there's been many, but we're talking about 5 today, is Blackie. We might put some pictures, because there's some pictures of these famous cats. That's how famous they got.
Oh.
So Blackie was the HMS Prince of Wales' ship cat, if that makes any difference to you. But this kitty cat was on board when Winston Churchill secretly met with FDR to create the Atlantic Charter.
Oh.
There's a famous picture of Blackie when he strolled up to Churchill. He was just like, excuse me, I need to get on my ship. And the cat would, like, just scooted past him. And Churchill was like, oh, cat. And he's like, and then kept walking.
Oh, yeah, smelled the hand and then was like, okay.
It was reported worldwide. That picture was seen worldwide. So he was renamed Churchill after this, but he still went down in history as Blackie. He later survived the sinking of the ship.
Oh, wow.
And was taken to Singapore with the survivors. But his fate after this is unknown.
Oh.
I assume he's not alive anymore, just given the lifespans of cats.
Yeah.
So this next cat's name is Camouflage. He or she was the ship cat for a U.S. Coast Guard LST during World War II. Apparently, this cat was known for chasing enemy tracer rounds across the deck, which tracer rounds are bullets of cannon caliber projectiles that burst into a bright flame when fired. This cat was like, woohoo!
Yeah, it's like extreme laser pointer.
Yeah, this cat loved it. That's literally all this cat was known for. Way to go, Camouflage.
Yeah.
Don't know how he died. Maybe one of these. Next cat's name was Aussie. They were the ship cat for RMS Niagara. Sure. Now, his mom was the previous ship cat, but his dad lived in Vancouver, British Columbia. So she had a bit of fun when they stopped in Canada, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then he, Aussie, was born in Fiji.
This is a very well-traveled cat.
I know. Now, when the ship was mined off the coast of New Zealand, so conceived British Columbia, born Fiji, ship's going down near New Zealand in 1940. He was put into a lifeboat with the rest of the crew because they're like, we gotta save Aussie.
Yeah.
He jumped back on board,
That's not a good move.
but a few days later came to shore on a piece of driftwood.
I made a huge mistake.
The cat. They were like, locals were like, this matches the description of that cat. This cat just like floated up on driftwood. Fate unknown.
Must have been part of the New Zealand culture.
I know. Just imagine it like,
I mean, I can't blame the cat for not wanting to be in the water, getting wet, but jumping back onto the ship.
that's his home.
Yeah.
Now there was the next cat number 4, name was Chibley.
Chibley?
Chibley.
Okay. Chibley.
Was the ship cat for training ship Picton Castle. Now, Chibley was rescued from an animal shelter, which I thought was sweet, and would circumnavigate the world 5 times.
Wow.
So by the time she died on November 10th of 2011, she had sailed over 180,000 miles at sea.
That's insane.
Way to go, Chibley. I forgot where she passed away, but she was retired when she passed.
I wonder if that cat has traveled the most out of, like, any animal ever.
Maybe. Well, they've sent animals to space.
That's true. Well, I guess I can't say any animal ever because great white sharks can't ever stop moving.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah. Now, this last cat's name was Convoy. And there's a picture. It's utterly adorable. So, Convoy was a ship cat for HMS Hermione. I'm just going to say it like that. Now, he was named Convoy due to being on the ship for numerous convoy escorts, which they protected trade convoys during the war to make sure no one bombs, like, people just carrying, like, foods and goods and stuff.
Which war?
I believe World War II.
Okay.
I believe. Now, Convoy was listed in the ship's book, like as a crew member. Mm-hmm. He had a full kit provided for him.
Aw.
And he was given a tiny hammock to sleep in. And that is what the picture's of. All these burly men in their outfits, and they're just surrounding him in his hammock, like, aww.
That is awesome.
But unfortunately, we know the fate of this cat.
Oh, no.
Convoy was killed along with 87 crewmates when the ship was torpedoed and sank on June 16th, 1942 by a German U-boat.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah. And that is 5 ship cats that are famous. I'm like, these cats have lived way more exciting lives than I think I will ever live.
Talk about circling the globe 5 times.
I know. And that cat probably didn't even know. Their world is just the ship.
Yeah, he's living his best life or her best life.
I like the one that's like, excuse me, Churchill, I need to go back on my ship.
Yep.
But I just had to tell some people about some of these famous cats. And there's crazier ones I didn't include. So maybe a part 2, hopefully. I was just like, these are such fascinating fuzzballs. Rest in peace, Convoy.
Yeah.
So what'd you think about these famous ship cats?
Well, at first I was like, how can a cat be famous for just being on a ship unless they did something extraordinary like snub Winston Churchill? But it's great that we've cared about our companions long enough and deeply enough to include them, like the Convoy that had his own kit. This is pretty awesome.
I think he's one of my favorites because, just one, because of that photo. They're fighting a war and they're like, look at the kitty. I just love it. There she is. Come here.
Thank you too.
Are you a famous kitty? I feel like you would get seasick. Because you
yeah.
cry when I take you to the vet in the car.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any kind of ride.
Well, that's it for this week. Hope you found it as fascinating as I did. Maybe part 2 someday. Bye.
Bye.